Well, hi everybody, my name is Dr. JD Swanson, I'm the author of Karate Science, and welcome to 15 Minutes of Thought number 17, I believe. What I want to do today is I want to talk about important elements of Heian Nidan. And I always hesitate working into kata because I know that there's little differences from organization to organization. I'm going to tell you how I do it. This is generally how it's done within the ISKF, the organization that I belong to. But I want to tell you some things that I think are important as we go through. So again, take them with a grain of salt, play with them, have a feel and understand how karate fits to your body and your purposes. So without further ado, let's do a couple of pieces of Heian Nidan, and I'm primarily thinking all the way up to the end of the first line, the first major line in the kata. Hey, us. Right, so from here, Heian Nidan. It was originally the first kata that was taught. If you go back to Okinawa, it was Pinan Shodan. And so when you think about this, the concepts, even though the kata is technically more difficult, what you find is the concepts that are underlying it from a fighting perspective are far simpler. And this was really identified, I think, first by Ian Abernethy. And I think he's really got something that he talks about. So first of all, let's just go through the kata the way that I think about it and the way that's sort of familiar. Of course, it's the load, the drop, the coming up into the Heian, so it's here, up. Then from here, under, out. From there, switch, 1, 2, 3. Then low, expand it back, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so that's what I want to do for the initial part. That's the piece that we're going to break down today. So what I want you to do to warm up is go through that first part of the kata. Have a play with it, make sure that it's clear in your head. So press pause, give it a go. Excellent, so let's do the first set of movements. So the way that I think about this particular movement from here, this load, is there's a beautiful image of Naka Sensei talking about dropping into Kokutsudachi from this first piece. And if you think about all the Heians, Heian Shodan's the only weirdo where you drop down into Genamurai. For Heian Nidan right through to Heian Goran, all of them drop down into Kokutsudachi. So you want the feeling of your body not necessarily coming forward like in Heian Shodan, but simply dropping in place, dropping in place. And when you think of Heian Nidan, it does this beautiful job of just being here. It's one that you're not very good at karate, you sort of panic, and so what do you do if someone's coming to hit you? You drop your weight and lift your hands up. And so that's the concept, that's the way you want to think about it. So when I'm here, if I grab just a marker like this obi, this white belt that I handy-dandy have set aside, what I want you to think about as you go, if this is my body center sitting over the top, and remember, Kokutsudachi is technically, shoulder width and a half to 2 shoulder widths depending on your flexibility. If you imagine this, 1/3, 2/3, 3/3. So all I'm doing when I drop to my 70-30 ratio, back leg to front leg, is because I'm already positioned effectively 50-50. As I drop this out 1 extra third, my body weight simply needs to drop directly over that line. Right? It doesn't need to go forward on that line into this sort of nothing darch, right? Actually it's footed arch, but feeling this kind of feeling. It's simply dropping straight down. And if you look at some of the older versions, of course, they would reverse, of course, into Nikawashi Dachi, cat stance. For here, Shotokan has sort of changed it to be Kokutsudachi, and there's some really neat writings about and arguments about that. So as you drop here, have the feeling of simply dropping your body weight straight down on the center, here, and then at the same time lifting your hands up. Don't do anything fancy with your hands. This sort of backwards movement has come about because I think people imagine that the hands are moving as the hips go. Simply, as you drop, your hips are going to open, the same as Heian Shodan. The simple drop, just allow that to happen. Your hands will naturally move into position. So as they go, feel the simple drop up. The simple up. So as I drop here, right, if I do a specific first, someone's coming in to hit me. They're coming in either to the front or to the side, wherever. And if I go Stupid, right? Simply feel, drop, lift, like so. So again, my body center completely over that idea. If I shift my body weight forward, someone's coming in to hit me. I'm not going to move this towards a target. Just doesn't make sense. So all I want you to do initially, for now, is simply practice from here, feel a straight drop down and up. Feel a straight drop down, up. Straight drop down, straight drop down, straight drop down. This feeling. So just practicing that exercise. Practice 20, 30, 40, 50 reps, but be cognizant of your body weight simply dropping into place, dropping into place, dropping into place each time. Give that a go. Okay, excellent. Let's move on. So from here, this feeling of simply dropping as my body drops, my hands raise here, and again, check body position, check that everything's clean and clear. From here, making the next turn. Now, as I do this, I don't want to hold all of this stagnant. It just doesn't do anything. Rather, feel your body drive into the urazuki, into the strike. Some people do it as round, some people do it straight. I do it as ura. From here, I imagine this coming straight across as sotuke. That's the feeling that I have. Now, as I do that, I want my hip and my body to move. The thing to watch is that this back knee doesn't collapse. Keep this back knee here, and what you notice is if I turn my hip, and if you watch my back knee, as I turn my hip, I have a little bit more room in my back ankle to make that. So when I imagine kokutsudachi or zenkotsu, hami, shomen, I imagine with my small brain, hami, shomen. It's very, very small. It's a very tiny movement, but that gives a little bit of body center driving forward from hami to shomen, if you like. At the same time, and this is identical, by the way, to all of these basic techniques where my hip simply doesn't turn all the way, but drives into that technique that I want. So feel here, feel the same drive as this. From here, feel that same drive, elbow to hip, here. So what I do is I bend this as far as I can while keeping the outward pressure on my leg, boom. And then as I go, the second, how I know that I've turned my hips enough, because this will start to drop. It's as far forward as I can do it. The other thing to watch is keep the pressure on your back heel. Try and keep your weight down. So push forward, but compress down. So simply feel here, this lift, one, then drive. This hand simply blocks, this punches in. How do I get the rest of the turn? I rotate, I push this forward as far as I can, then I take the rest in my shoulders, in my spine. Then as I expand out, now feel, rotate, the hip will go back to hami and push, like so. Check that this is chudan, not nothing done. So here, so it's this push, then unwind the shoulders, unwind the hip. Now, one other thing to watch is as you do that unwind, be cognizant of where your body center is moving, right? So when I'm here, when I do my drop, I don't want my body center to move forward. I want it to simply drop. When I do the next hit, by going into shomen, when I go into shomen, my center moves from here to here. It's moved forward about an inch. What I don't want to do is as I pull back, don't expand back so my body center moves backwards. Remember, I want to hit them. So as it goes from here into the tsuki, into the punch, feel it, push, rotate off the back hip to push. I'm not moving my center forward, but I'm rather maintaining it where it is and not pulling it back. So as I push this way, not this. Does that make sense? The only other thing is be aware of the trajectory of this arm. Push not out tetsui, but keep the elbow close and then drive the punch in. Make sure it's a punch, not tetsui. That's how it's written in best karate. So what I want you to do is I want you to simply practice from here this idea, keeping a lot of those points in mind. 1, 1, 2. Then the other side. 1, 1, 2. Right? 1, 1, 2. 1, 1, 2. Practice again and again. Give it 20, 30 reps. Keeping in mind all of those points that we talked about. Again, you don't have to do them all at once. Just piece by piece. Press pause. Give it a go. Very good. Okay, now let's work on that transition. So we're here in the tsuki. What I do is I drop my hands down. I bring them back to a neutral position. This neutral position for me is where I would have been here. If I expand the stance out, right, this is where my hips are gonna be eventually. So how I imagine this for me is it's like I'm grabbing hold of this bar and I'm going here and I'm pulling myself over. I'm using my hands to pull my body over. So when I make that transition, I'm here, I drop, and I simply pull on the bar, up. Pull on the bar, up. Why is it this big transition from here to here? Because it's shifting my body center back and away from the opponent. Remember, this is Heian Nidan. I'm not very good at karate yet, so I'm getting out of the frickin' way. So the idea here is a straight drop. Oh my goodness, someone's coming in. Hit. Now in comes the next person. Drop the weight, check out where they are. Oh, that was lucky. So from here, what I'd like you to do is practice that first section of the kata again and again and again. Check this nice connection of here, center, body, arms, same time. Give it a go. Very good. From here now, let's work on the next section. Making kokuts. From here, it's not a full step up, it's not a step backwards. The reason is there's an opponent, right? If you're my opponent right here, or if I use this belt again to mark the line by which my center's sitting on, which is the line that I'm probably going to be attacked by, right? So here, somebody would more than likely come in directly on this line, right? If that's like an arrow. If I step all the way up, hard for me to get back. If I step all the way back, well, maybe, but that's not the kata, right? That comes later, cutting on those angles. That's what the whole gyaku hamai piece comes in. Instead, in this particular case, by just simply rotating in this rear hip, now I'm on line for the Okazaki Teruyuki. So, from here, with these compound movements, feel this nice connection of the hip squeezing, turning my foot in, going into preparatory, then from here, load, kick, that raken happens at the same time, and through. How I do this, how I learn this movement, is you see all the time people do it this way. Don't. Break the movement down. With these compound movements in kata, and this is one of the first ones, take your time and do it piece by piece. So when you're learning, 1, 2, load, back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? Make sure that you can do the whole thing step by step. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then start merging it together, but still have that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Have that feeling in place. Allow that to happen. A couple little pieces that are really important. Make sure here the kick, Okazaki comes out. Chudan, right, most likely is probably the smartest choice. The raken, make sure you turn the fist all the way over and make sure it passes the center line of your body. You're not hitting them here, you're hitting them here. Right, this, in my mind, can be One application, 50,000 different applications. Some people make a living doing it. Make sure it covers your body. Make sure it turns all the way over, makes that connection. That same wrist rotation that we've talked about all the way through. Move this leg and this arm synchronously to one another. And bring it back. So feel that kyage, kyage. Same feeling. Finish one technique, then load for the next, then come down. 2, 3, 4. Allow that to happen. Then you can just simply speed it up, but keep the pieces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. As you go. Last piece, this load for the yoku after the kick and that arkin allows you to drive your body weight back. So nice and relaxed. So go in, practice those pieces. Press pause, give it a go. Okay, excellent. Last two pieces. Coming up the line. Once you've made the Kokutsudachi, not much to say here. We'll do a class on Kokutsu and moving through it. Just something really easy to think about. As you go, don't open. Don't open. Keep your center line intact. So as you move, think, close, close. What I imagine, I have 2 magnets on my elbows. Oh, that's good. And then also allow body to connect. Body to connect. For the last movement, the osayuke, here everything's been going according to plan. I've just blocked or I've struck them with the shuto, whatever your flavor or pet application is. Remember, the body movement, kata is about teaching your body how to move, not necessarily about bunkai. At least that's what Yaguchi sensei told me, and I really go for that. Then you've got less of a lock and key, but more of a, this is to teach your body how to move. Now I can defend myself against anything as I move. So as you move, feel up, open. The osayuke, everything's been going according to plan. Block, block, block. So why add this goofy movement at the end? Well, it's in case something goes wrong. What do you do if all of a sudden you get halfway through here, you've blocked them with this, and then it's, oh my goodness, here comes something else, or oh my goodness, they're right on top of me. What do you do? Because this kata, Heian Nidan in my mind, is a kata about lateness. You're always stinking late, right? Everything's on top of you and kind of scary. So as you step, feel. As you move, feel. So what you want to do is, like our birds in a tree, where your head remains still, now just keep your body, let your body move, but keep your hands where they need to go. This is already set in place. This is already pointing where it needs to go. So allow my hands to remain still, but my body moves around my hands. And as I get that drive forward, or as soon as the osayuke hits, I can make the nikute. So allow here, allow this push down. Notice as Guy was talking about, I think on Saturday, notice the hand up, you can make it a push here, but the other piece that's also important is drive with this elbow. That changes the technique. This isn't push the technique down into your gonads technique. This is about deflecting to the side, and you do that through both here, pushing, striking, but also by pushing with this elbow. If you have a weak elbow here, all you can do is hit it, it's going to hit you. Or if you just pan it down, you're just going to guide it straight to your groin. Push. So here, the feeling is this push, expand. Push and expand. This end position, in case you're wondering, if I just straighten it out, Chudanzuki. Karate's easy. So feel here. Feel everything shift. And push. This gives you the correct place. If this is pushed out correctly at right angles, this now sits in the right place, like so. From here, simply push. So this hand does not pull back, it does not shift, it moves completely independently. It's already in place. So almost in real time when I'm practicing this to begin with, I'll often 1, then 2. As I get better, my goal is just to hit him. Just throw it. Just throw it as it goes. So shuto, 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 drop and push. Go through that particular piece. So what I'd like you to do is simply here. 1, 2, 3, turn. 1, 2, 3, turn. Press pause, give that a go. Okay, last piece. Now put the whole shebang together. From here, practice 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Very good. It's important with kata to practice the different pieces. Don't be afraid to take the different pieces out and work on them independently. You don't need to do Heian Nidan from beginning to end every time. Work on the pieces you have trouble with, work on them slowly, break them down, ask why. For me, I don't make my stuff my way of thinking about how it's applied. I always have the application mixed in, but I don't have a particular application mixed in. For me, with everything I do in karate, it's about understanding the body movement, because what that does is rather than having a lock and key where you have one attack that's defended with movement X out of Heian Nidan, I can protect my body with any part of Heian Nidan. So it's kind of a different way of thinking about it. With that, have an awesome day, and I'll talk to you all soon. Hey, us, thank you.